Hello everyone, Attack Power here, diving into another deck building and review here of a division that's an OG and one of my personal favorites, 5th SS Panzer Viking here. If you enjoyed this, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, check out the Patreon and YouTube memberships down below for cool perks and bonuses there. So let's dive right into this. This division is definitely not one of the strongest. I'll put that out there right away. I'd probably put this realistically like high B tier. You know, to me, it has some weaknesses, not anything backbreaking, but I just find it to be a really unique division in that this is like my allied division beater. There's very few axe divisions that I'm like, oh, this division is really good against allied divisions. This is one of them. It just has so many tools that counter allied stuff in a general sense that I just find this division works pretty well against the Western allied. Sorry, let me phrase that a little bit better. Specifically Western allied divisions. I just feel like this division has so many good counters, and a lot of their units just kind of stack up really well, especially in the armor tab, that I just like how this division plays against Western allied divisions in general. Now, are you going to go beat every Western division playing this? No, absolutely not. Western allied divisions are still cracked and still generally just the best divisions in the game. It's hard to argue at this point. But I'm hoping the Dukla Pass and DLC and stuff changes some of that up. It should be really exciting. But diving in here anyway, I'm building balance because, of course, I'm building balance. This division is pretty flexible. You can kind of use it, I think, in any income. Balance is actually probably not one of its best incomes, but you know me, if I can play it balanced, I will play it balanced. I do think this division can brawl in a balanced way, but it works very well, Vanguard and Maverick as well. So diving into the Recon tab here, this is definitely not a strong tab here. It's got okay options, but it's just really small. It's really, really restrictive. I really wish this was dropped down to 2 and there was another point, another slot here. I think that'd be really nice. This is one of those older divisions that I still feel like really suffers from brutal activation point costs. Like they're just so high. Like all of the activation point costs are just so brutally high. But anyway, Aufkladde, they're Aufkladde. They do what they do. I am bringing them in the Schwimmwagen MG here. Why? Because the unit does spot. I mean, it does a nice job spotting. It's got very high optics, which is just a step down from the exceptional optics of the Aufkladde. So if this can sit in a yellow forest or something and spot anything, then there you go, 5 points, 100% worth it. And then the Panzer III. Panzer IIIs are absolutely phenomenal. They're just really good weapons in general. Other things I would consider here, I would definitely consider the Panther D here. If you really want more Panthers, an option here would be pop this out, throw that in there, and then over here in the tank tab, you can very, realistically move then this Panther D over to C phase, have 6 of them there. I might actually leave it that way for now. I don't mind having the extra Panthers around. It's really nice having the sight on the Aufkladde Panther. It's one of those things like back in the day, I don't know, I think a year ago already only, basically Recon tanks cost more and like were more strenuous to bring in. And now if we look here, cost is the same. Availability is a little lower, but not by much. So now that the costs are the same and stuff, there's not a lot of negative to taking the Recon tanks outside of the fact they are in the Recon tab, and you have to, of course, plan for that. I do hate not having this Panda 3M in here, but again, this unit is not phenomenal against Western Allied divisions, and that's kind of what I'm almost gearing this division to beat, is kind of Western Allied divisions specifically. And I actually don't love the Panda 3 there. They get absolutely bullied to death by Shermans. They can take one down, but it's a very much uphill battle, and you usually lose the fight. They don't do great even against like Cromwells and stuff like that. Panda 3s are not at their best. They're great against Soviet divisions. They're a really nice cost-effective unit. They're still good. It's just they're not as strong, I feel, against Western Allied divisions. Never taking the motorcycle, not taking the sped troop, etc., etc. The usual issues with those units. Continuing on the infantry tab here. So there's not anything like super special about this infantry tab. It's just chunky. For a tank division, for a Panzer division here, it's actually rather chunky. You got a nice full tab here. There's nothing, again, spectacular. A phase, we have Pioneers, the Panzer Grenadier for, although a lot of your leaders come in with these nice half tracks. The SDK of Z 251/10, love this thing. Absolutely cleans up half tracks and stuff, and really can take down some light tanks as well. Fast firing, 65 millimeters of penetration, essentially infinite ammo. It also fires HE because why not? It's not good HE damage, but it's HE damage all the same. For 5 freaking points, nuts, so good. Other things you can bring in, I thought there were more, but no, not really. Yeah, so I would not I would not choose something else. This thing is absolutely phenomenal and will usually trade up. And this is just another tool against Western Allied divisions, which really lean on like the M3A1s, the half tracks, you know, these super annoying half tracks. This unit does a great job of cleaning those up for nearly no cost to you other than the leader coming in a slow transport. Then we have 2 cards here of Panzergrenadier, Panzerfaust going on here. I'm actually going to move this a little. I don't love this actually, so give me just a hot second here. I'm actually going to switch this around. I'm going to put the Panzergren normal ones here in A phase instead. Why am I doing this? Because I would much prefer my infantry having some AT in C phase over all of it being in A phase. There we go. And we'll bring them in the half tracks too. So yeah, it gets us a little AT in every phase here. A little more survivability there in C phase. Then B phase, Sturm Pioneers and Panzergrenadiers with the Panzerfaust. And C phase, we have another card of Pioneers. And then the Panzerfaust, Panzergrens, I just moved over to here with the SDK of Zeds, which can be nice and annoying there in C phase. Things are not taking more leaders. The other card is Sturm Pioneers. I don't hate it. You know, maybe I want it over this Pioneer, but the Pioneer is a little more flexible in that it can fight long range if it has to. You know, and that flexibility is appreciated because I don't have a ton of infantry in A phase. This is pretty low. It should be fine with other stuff we're calling in. The unique unit here is the Panzergrenadier MG34. This unit has higher availability, so this is the big reason to take it. It's just higher availability in general. So like I could take it in C phase, have 21 instead of 24, which is a very small loss. You know, it doesn't have AT, which is why I'm not taking there. You know, obviously the big issue here is you go from an MG42 down to an MG34. That is a big difference. Like that is a significant decrease in effectiveness of this unit. You do get an upgrade in that you get the ZK383, which is actually a 150 meter range submachine gun. You know, in my mind, this makes them good at CQC, but in reality, it does not at all. This is not a significant change. You know, are they better at CQC than a Panzergren? Absolutely. Will this unit beat CQC dedicated infantry? Absolutely not. Not even a little bit. You're joking yourself if you think it will. Will they do better if you have a Panzergren versus a Panzergren? Sure. I mean, this is better. You know, if these two units fight, the Panzergren MG34 should consistently win all else equal. That thing should very easily win. But is it worth losing the power of the MG42 for that? No. The answer is an absolute not. Maybe in A phase, instead of the regular Panzergren, I could take these Panzergren MG34. You know, I will do that. I will just do that. We'll mix it up a little bit here. Am I saying I think this is the right choice? No, not necessarily, but having 2 more Panzergrens is nice. Yeah. The extra availability there is nice. It gives me a little bit more infantry in A phase, and you all know I like lots of infantry. We're looking at 79 infantry here. Not bad. It's not actually like an absurd number for a balanced deck in the quick queue, right? If I'm playing a tournament game, that's probably a little high. I could probably get away with a little less, but this for where I'm taking this thing, it's probably fine. Tank tab here. This is what I love about this division. This just has so many good units against Allied armor. And this includes Soviet, really. Not as strong against the Soviets, but very strong, I personally feel, against Allied armor and Western Allied armor. So Panzer IV, nothing special here. This is not the really strong thing. But you get 2 cards of them. We have one in A and B phase. We are double venting them, trying to make them as effective as possible. The double venting does make a pretty big difference on these things. You really want them to, take out that Sherman and stuff. They're still not great at that these days, but they can do some good work. But here's the real trick here is the Stug 4s. You have 2 cards of Stug 4s, a leader one, which we're putting in A. 2 of them is not ideal. It's not like a ton, but it's something. And what makes these better than Stug 3s? We all know it's that extra 10 millimeters of armor right there. That is a big difference. Like Stug 4s do so well against Allied armor. Like Shermans just have to be afraid of these. Yes, the Shermans can kill these. Don't think that these are absolutely like anti-Sherman can't die. But that extra 10 millimeters of armor helps you win fights so much more consistently. It's kind of insane. T-34-76s absolutely struggle to kill these things because of that extra 10 millimeters of armor. So the Stug 4, the absolute house here, we have one in A phase, and the second card I'm actually putting in C phase here. I want to go along with this. I want there to be Stug 4s forever. 9 is really not that many in the first place. I am vetting it. I do want that effectiveness. I burns me to lose 3 of them, but it's worth it at the end of the day. But yeah, Stug 4 is really strong, specifically against Shermans, and obviously Western Allied divisions are leaning on Shermans hard. Cromwells too. Cromwells really struggle against Stug 4s. I mean, they're just such a huge upgrade over Stug 3s. Then the Panzer T-34-85. This is T-34-85, and these are phenomenal against Western Allied divisions. This unit just bullies all Allied medium armor. Shermans can do nothing. I mean, they are really struggle. Cromwell's obviously, all that medium armor that the British and American divisions just lean on so heavily, really struggle to beat this unit specifically. And it's only 90 points. This is 10 points more than a Sherman, and it can wipe out every Sherman. I just really like T-34-85s in the current meta, actually. I think they're really good. Specifically, this is the 1943 variant. Yes, the 1943 variant. It's got the shorter range. Doesn't matter. It doesn't need the 1944 variant. The 1944 variant, I think it's still 110 points, which is a lot. This thing's down to 90 points. It's just so effective and does a really nice job. It doesn't do anything near the support that like Shermans can do and stuff. But that's not what I'm bringing this in for. I'm bringing this in to bully Allied armor, and it really does that super well. And finally, in C-Phase here, we just saw me move it, the Panther D. I like Panther Ds more than Panther As by a lot, actually. Yes, Panther A's are better. They have 10 more millimeters of armor. That's a pretty big deal. They have a faster turret turning speed. You don't know that, but it does. And it makes a difference. It matters. It's definitely a thing. But I like the higher level. And they get an extra MG34. That as well. That's a lot for 5 points. Like, let me be real. That is a lot of upgrades for the Panther A to only be 5 points more than the Panther D. No question about it. I like the extra availability on the Panther D. I can't say anything more than that. That's the only reason. You get more of you can see it right there. You get more of the Panther D at the end of the day. Saving 5 points is nice, but it's not really. I would not actually say the 5 points is worth it. I would prefer the 10 millimeters of armor and specifically actually this faster turret turn speed. That's what I really prefer. But attack power is just a sucker for having more. I can't help myself. The balance player in me. But yeah, so you get more of them. Boom. Love it. Yes. Panther awesomeness. And again, Panthers do phenomenal against Western Allied divisions. And for me personally, when it comes down to it, like if I'm thinking of this against the Western Allied division, the Panther D is plenty sufficient. The fact of the matter is a 17-pounder is going to kill your Panther most of the time anyway, whether it's an A or a D. Like, that's just the factoid of it. Yes, the Panther A is more survivable. It will bounce more shells. There's no question about it. But they're both going to die to a 17-pounder, which is, the main Western Allied counter to this unit in the first place. So for me, it's like, whatever. I just want the extra. They're going to die, so I might as well get more so I have more to lean on. Hopping into the Sport Tab. Sport Tab's actually really good. You get a lot of 2K HE to work with. We're taking the Flammenwerfer, MG42. Then we have the Grilla, Glida, basically Edition K here. And then we have an IG-33. So you get a ton of 2K support here, which is always something I love to have. With the Opel Blitz ammo. We have no commander here. Don't love it, but it is what it is. No commander. I would love more MG42, but this is another example of, old division getting just brutally mauled by AP costs. Let me double check this. That's only 2 points, but yeah, it's still really rough. You don't really get, it's really hard to fill these 2 slots. You really never can, realistically. So you're down to basically 5 points unless you're like murdering your other slots. Yeah, it's just rough. But yeah, it's a really solid Sport Tab. It doesn't have anything unique going on, but it's got plenty of what you need, and it does it well. Anti-Tank Tab, really strong. It's got more of my favorite units here. So we have Panzerschrecks, which come in the SDK of Z251/10. I am bringing them in those. Again, I just find this unit to be super hyper efficient at 5 points. You kill an M3A1, you just traded up 5 points, and this can do way more than that. So yeah, absolutely love these. Like I said, just Western Allied counter here. Then you have the Jagdpanzer Su-76. It's an Su-76. These are really good right now at 35 points. They can very much trade up. Against any Axis medium armor, this thing can kill them, and that's really good. This is not like the best anti-Western Allied armor unit, but this does really good just trading up against the mirror. Pack 38 is a Pack 38. Then we have Pack 40. Then we have the beautiful Jagdpanzer 4, the actual Jagdpanzer 4 with the 130 millimeters of armor. The cool camo here. This unit is phenomenal. It's filling in our B phase like quote-unquote heavy tank sort of situation, since I don't have the Panthers in B. I have the Recon Panther, but I don't have any other Panther-esque unit in D. In a B, in D, oh geez, in B phase. So yeah, Panzer IV, love these things. Would take 2 cards if I could find the room. Again, just seem to not be able to here. But yeah, this basically every single one of these tanks crushes allied armor. That's what I love about this, and that's why allies are so good, because of their medium and light armor right now. Well, if everything in your deck absolutely bullies them except these Panzer IVs, I mean minus those things, you're just going to be doing really well against allied divisions just in general. That's my feeling on it. That's why I like this division right now. Well, we're not taking the Panzerabusha. I've actually taken this before. I'll be honest. I would not vet it because it's already like super low range, super high rate of fire, super high accuracy. Like there's not a lot of reason to vet this thing. If you're playing a tournament game and you are against probably an allied division that is just bursting at the seams with light armor, say third US armor, where every infantry unit is coming with a half track, I would consider this unit. I would. I think, or maybe I'm playing against first Panselosh, where Terrans are their main tool. This unit does pretty good, honestly. I mean, it's not anything incredible, but guys, I've had this unit really overperform. It's only 10 points. You just dump them everywhere. You make it so your opponent literally can't go anywhere without running into one of these annoying little craps. And they have to do something about it. Like, it has to get killed at some point. So, something to consider. Again, that's very specific. I would not take this into the quick play queue. I don't think it's that effective. Panzerschreck, Panzervernichtung, if you want a bigger, chunkier guy, this is the guy to take. But he does not come in the SDKZ 251, which is why I'm not taking it. And you get 1 less, and it costs 5 points more. And your guy's going to end up shooting at random infantry and revealing itself. And really, you want the Panzerschreck to surprise things, and that's why I don't generally take the Vernichtings. There's way more Pack 40s here if you want them. Pack 40s are Pack 40s. They're good. I don't see a lot of them overperform, and at 60 points, you're usually not getting a whole lot more points out of this unit than you're paying for it. So that's why Pack 40 is kind of, they're, like the most average of AT guns. They're good. They do what you want them to do. They're rarely going to win the day for you, but they will often do things you need them to do. And like I said, I'd love to have that second Panzer IV card if I could. Anti-air, this is definitely one of the weaknesses of the deck, but you have 2 really good units here that can fill it in. We have the SDKZ 7-1 here. Always does the job well. We're putting in A phase. Why? Because it moves, which means, technically speaking, if I'm smart with it, or you are smart with it, you have a lot of survivability on this unit, right? It shoots, you move it. Shoots, you move it. It should never really technically die unless you don't move it, right? Or it gets spotted from the front line somehow, which hopefully you don't have it that close to the front line. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a super efficient unit. It does the job well. It can generally stop a plane by itself. If you can get a leader next to it and give it some veterancy, then it really starts to slap hard. And then B phase, I'm bringing in an unvetted card of Flak 43s. Now, I don't love the unvetted thing. I understand. I usually say always vet your AA. The problem is if I vet it, I go down to 4, then I only have 6 pieces of AA, and that is really low for a game I'm expecting to go long in my balance deck. And Flak 43s are not SDKs as they don't move as well after they shoot, right? You can still move them, but, if your opponent's really looking to kill your AA, there's a good chance they can still kill this even if you give it a move order. Flak 43s are phenomenal. They're a very, very good AA piece. They're one of the most solid ones in the game. It's like the baseline of good AA is this unit right here. So, these aren't bad units, but you don't have a lot. You have to be very careful with them. Things we're not taking, of course, the Flak 20 mil, although you can bring this in with the SDK of Z11 here and actually have, you actually have to vet it now because of the higher availability on this thing. So you have to vet it, but you can get double 20 mil, go down to 2 if you want. God, the double vet curve on these are so bad, but you really kind of want to double vet them. Almost the Gepard better, but the fact of the matter is that, this is only 40 points. I don't know which way I would go, honestly. Like, if I was going to take this unit at all, probably this one. Could you get 4, and this one you only get 3, although the Gepards move, although the SDK of Zeds move just fine, too. You have to have 80 points. You only need to have 40 points. The Gepard has double the ammo. I don't really know, to be honest with you. probably this one. Again, I'm just a sucker for availability. So this has this technically, I know it doesn't look like it, but it actually does because you get 2 of them, right? 2 units for 1 card. Technically, you get 4 versus 3, right? But anyway, also we're bringing this in the Burj Panther here, which I've used. Honestly, I've used it. It's a heavily armored. For only 5 points, it's actually kind of insane how much you get on this. For only 5 points, you get a 80 millimeter front armor, like Panther chassis, essentially with an autocannon on it. There's not much to complain about there. You're kind of dumb not to take this, honestly. Arty tab, load it up, but again, you don't have any activation points to use it. You're just so strained in every tab. The activation points are so brutal. Taking the 81mm mortar, Battle de Feur, and the SK-18 105 does a great job killing Arty and stuff. Things we're not taking, the Veilbox, or like, why would we in this deck? We have plenty of radio. 81mm mortar, why when you have the half track? These are awful. Vespas are also really quite bad, honestly. Yeah, I mean, they move, I guess. I mean, you definitely take them over the LE5 FH trash can, but they're still not great. 120s, you have the mortar, you have the half track. The Wilfach-Werfer here, the Wilfach-Werfer, I always want this to be good. It's not very good. It's a weak off map in a can. Let's call it that. It's a very weak off map in a can. I mean, this is mortar sized, shells. It doesn't do much. It really does. I'm not saying it's bad. It has its niche. It's kind of like a Katusha. I'd put it at that level. Maybe just like a tiny bit better than a Katusha. Maybe. I haven't used this in a long time, so I'm making a stab here. It's a bit of a stab. Go ahead and fire me in the comments. That's fine. But I think it does a better job at the off-map thing, but a worse job of potentially killing something. Maybe. I don't know. You're not going to have space for it, most likely. And then the Hummel. I mean, if you don't like the way your SK-18s are working, the Hummel is all right at the moment. It's all right. I don't know I mean, it is technically a little better than it used to be. It's actually got like the OK gun now, so I haven't used it enough to say whether this is way better or not. Air tab. Once again, good options, just not going to have the room because the availability slots are brutally expensive here. So I'm taking the Focke-Wulf 190 D9. I actually like this unit. It actually got a buff to its maneuverability recently. So it's medium resilience, solid loadout. It's not great. It's not 420 mils, but it is 2. It can shoot things down. It's extremely fast, which is nice. This unit can actually catch most of the fastest planes in the game. I think this is the fastest Axis fighter, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty confident I'm correct about that this is the fastest Axis fighter. I don't think it outflies the Typhoon. I think that's 680. I think that's 680 kilometers an hour. But outside of that, it can catch basically any plane in the game. Really good. Availability curve is terrible, unfortunately. That's definitely a big minus for it. And then the HE-111 nuke bomber. This thing is great. It drops one big 1,000 kilogram bomb, and it kills a lot of stuff. And it does that really well. So, yeah, I have a hard time not taking this. Thing we're not taking, Recon planes, I just don't use them personally enough. And for how expensive this is, I would prefer my plane actively be killing something over just seeing things, which is still a very viable use for any unit. Recon is extremely important. Don't let anyone say, that's stupid. No, I appreciate the value of a Recon aircraft, but these are expensive Recon aircraft, and I'm very strained on availability here. Ju-88, absolutely god-awful. Don't ever take it. HE-111 with a terrible bomb loadout. Don't know why you would when you have the really good bomb loadout. HE-111 with a slightly better bomb loadout. Still don't know why you would when you can just drop one big 1001. Would love to take the Focke-Wulf 190 F8. There is an argument to be made that you just take this as your quote-unquote fighter, but it is quite slow. The loadout is not incredible. You do a medium resilience. This is a good AT plane. This is a good AT rocket plane. When I'm playing and I know what I'm playing against and I know I need to kill a heavier tank, I will jostle this around to make room for this unit. It is very solid. 5th Viking. this division is good. I like this division. I think it is quite solid. For an older division, it actually holds up really well. It is brutally hampered by its activation costs, similar to like Hermann Göring and stuff, where there's so many cool tools, you just can't fit them all. But yeah, not great AA. I should say not a plethora of AA, a very limited air tab, and a very limited recon tab, which hides some really good incredible tank tab, really good AT tab, really solid support tab, and an infantry tab that can get the job done. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and check out that membership and Patreon. Thanks a bunch, everybody. Have a fantastic day.